Hey guys, we're live, we're here.
What's up?
We're
I've seen Ivy a little heart.
Oh,
That's so cute.
I can put that on you next time.
We are live.
Ooh.
We're seeing nudity
Ooh.
today.
Oh my gosh.
Freaking nip.
People are gonna love that on YouTube.
Yes. I can't wait for the YouTube comments now.
Hey, how are you doing tonight? Thank you so much for joining us. You just got a free show. If you missed it, I'm so sorry. You can watch it on the replay on YouTube. That's gonna be the first thing somebody says. Oh.
Hey, Jerry. Everyone got to see Tyler's little shirtless.
It's just adding. We knew it.
And what's so funny is he's the one who told me to hurry up and come up here because it was almost 7.
Well, welcome in, guys, and for those of you going to watch this later on YouTube and yell at us, tonight we're going to be talking paranormal because me and Crystal were talking in the last couple of episodes. We did a couple of true crime, I think we did a conspiracy, and the only thing we haven't done is paranormal, but I'm going to go ahead and let Crystal do like our normal little intro and our socials and all those good things. Hey, James, thank you for the host. I appreciate it.
Woo-hoo. So yes, so if you don't already, follow us on Instagram at Bayou_Chronicles or our Twitter at Bayouchronicles. Obviously, if you are joining us and you haven't already followed us here, definitely do it so you can get all kinds of notifications when we go live. We do have our YouTube page that this will be put up right after, and it's just Bayouchroniclespodcast, and you have to type in the whole dang thing. But yeah, go watch us. You can participate in all the hate comments that we get. We actually had one guy, which if you've listened to the last couple of episodes, which sorry about the audio quality, we're working on it. But if you've listened to the last couple episodes, we talked about this particular person who has made our views skyrocket because of his negative comments, and we are living for it. So if you'd like to go participate in that, go for it. So
No. You're not a bad friend. Not a bad friend. We haven't had our YouTube that long. It may be like a month, 2 months. But yeah, if you want to go sub to us, that'd be awesome. But yeah, that one guy, I don't think people understand how algorithms work. Excuse me. If you're gonna be a troll on the internet, which is what you are, like even over on TikToks, on videos, the more you comment on stuff, the more it puts our videos out into the feed. It puts ours in the browser search. It puts us in the recommendations. And that video has almost 1,000 views. So, and then he even took the time, and this was the sad part, he even took the time to thumb down all of our videos because he didn't like that one video, which
still helped us because it was just more interaction.
He gave us 1 view per video that he went and clicked on and down, thumbed, and whatever. And you're right, James. Pressure makes diamonds. You're right. But anyway, so Knick Knack Paddywhack, whatever your name is.
It was a Knick Knack Paddywhack show. Never gonna forget.
Yes. No hate towards you, but
no, like you totally made it.
Thanks though, because that almost has 1K views. That's awesome. On our little tiny channel that only has 21 subs. So yeah. Oh yeah, James knows. That's why I mentioned TikTok. He gets hate on his TikToks, but literally he had one video have like almost 2K views because this dude kept commenting on it and making fun of him, and he's like, "Thanks for the views and the likes."
And they hate that. That's the best part because they don't realize that their hate comments just help you, and they don't realize it. That's the best part.
But we know he's gonna watch this on YouTube because he literally has been stalking us. It's gotten to that point. So Knick Knack, enjoy this when I upload it to YouTube. You're getting a lot of recognitions. I hope you get some subs.
I told him. I even invited him to be on the podcast if he wanted to.
Yeah, nice. Oh, 50K, that's awesome. I think I got confused. Yeah, 2K likes. Yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, haters feel the world. makes the world go round. But we'll go ahead and jump into it. And for those of you that don't follow us on Instagram, I know Crystal, I don't know if she's going to do it tonight, probably tomorrow. We're going to do a poll because a few people mentioned to us that 7 p.m. is really not working for them. And like they're either still getting dinner cooked, they're getting off of work. So we might be pushing the Twitch streams to maybe 8 p.m. or changing it to a different day or something. But we're going to put a poll over on Instagram just to kind of see what works for you guys, because we're doing it. This isn't just for us. We want to come on here and talk to you guys, and you can watch it, or you can go over to YouTube and watch it later. But just food for thought, 7 p.m. might not be the time next month in May when we do our next Twitch stream. But let's jump on into it, because I know people are always like, oh my god, your intros are so freaking long, and skip forward to this time, yada yada yada. So, hello, here we go. So today's,
Page, not there.
yeah, this is why we like to do the Twitch stream. It's not like when we sit down and record and it's just me and Crystal talking into a mic to each other. We get to actually interact and you can see our faces. But today's episode, I gotta give a shout out to my mom. My mom is our A1 since day one. She like literally messaged me this, because I was like, Mom, me and Crystal have to do a Twitch stream this month on paranormal. And like nothing was coming to mind. And I love paranormal. I feel like Crystal's she's slowly getting into liking paranormal. She's still really not. Like, she's still like, eh. She's more the conspiracy gal. And I was like, nothing's coming to mind. And I don't want to do anything that's popular and it's like already like beaten a dead horse, like talked about so much. So my mom just like went to good old Google and she sent me this long list. So shout out to my mom. And it was like literally a thing of like creepiest, spookiest places in Florida and Louisiana, because we're in Louisiana now and I am from Florida. So we always talk about both. And this one just like stuck out. I don't know if it was some kind of creepy premonition sign or whatever, but I kept looking at the list and I was like, the devil's school, like, alright, that's gotta be interesting. So let me just do a little quick Google search here. And I was like, oh, it's in Duval County in Jacksonville. If you know, you know. That town is already crazy, and I'm so sorry if somebody...
What's so crazy about it? Because I have no idea.
Have you seen Cops?
Yes.
Duval County makes it on Cops a lot. Like, if you watch an episode of Cops, they're more than likely in Florida and Jacksonville, in Duval County.
So I'll pay attention more often now.
Well, I mean, it's just like... It's how...
It's like a really rough part of town.
Yes. Yes. I mean, I like Jacksonville. I've been there frequently. Like, that's where we went to get on our cruise. But a mature rating thing? I don't know. I didn't add that to our Twitch. Do we have that? I didn't get it. That's weird. Well, we are mature.
Say that, that's weird. Someone must have, I have no idea. That's
Maybe because of our title.
Maybe.
Maybe because I don't...
Because of Tyler.
Oh, because of the boobies? Maybe. Oh my gosh. He did come in here, and if you missed the nip slip, oh my god, I'm not gonna let Tyler live that down, like, ever. Just...
He got kind of mad about it and, like, angry.
He'll be alright.
He came in here to ask me what I wanted, and I kind of was just like,
That's hilarious.
just make my plate. Like, I don't mean to be like that, but I don't ask him what he wants. I just make the plate and bring it to him.
I have a husband that will literally eat garbage, so if I make a plate of food, he will eat anything. But
I'm probably only gonna eat like 3 bites of this, so I was just like, I don't know, just put food on a plate and bring it to me.
this is also why we said we might change our time, because we were like always eating dinner or doing something. And that's also another comment we got on YouTube, that we're loud and we're smacking and we can hear wrappers opening and we're loud. Do you want us to go without food? Like, we were working this into our schedule, okay? Anyways.
Usually always happens right after I get off of work.
Yeah, so, anyways, jump back into it. Anyways, long story short, Jacksonville is just, like where I'm from in Florida, we make fun of Tallahassee. We call it Tallanasty. This is just
like Ratchet City.
Yes, very much so. This is just, like, Shreveport gets made fun of all the time. It's just it's a part of Florida that's not so good. But, and if you want to look up pictures of the Devil's School, you can see, like, this place has been wrecked, and we'll talk about it. So it's a school. And the first thing when I started doing research for this is it was compared to Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, I hope all of you guys have seen that franchise. Please. Florida man more than likely was born in Duval County.
Okay, that was my next thing that I was asking. Was like, is this like Florida man's origin story basically?
No. But we should look that up. That would be cool to talk about on here. So many people talk about Florida man. But it, like, a lot of the research doing this for the Devil's School, it kept mentioning Nightmare on Elm Street. So put that in the front of your brain. And that's a little tool that we'll use later, because I have a theory for this at the end. And I want you guys to see if you agree with me or you disagree with me. Because that's a pretty intense claim, because Nightmare on Elm Street literally terrified me as a child. But there is one part in one of the movies where she does fall asleep, like, at school. That one part where, like, she's in the classroom and then she goes down the hallway and she sees the burnt body and she follows it down the hallway. Anyways, so I feel like that's part of where they're comparing it to this, because there's a little story that I'm about to tell you. But Nightmare on Elm Street made me not want to take a bath. If you know, you know. If you know that one part. This movie scared me.
I've seen that movie since I was like a young teenager, like 14.
I feel like it's been a few years since I watched it. Like, not too long ago, but it's been a few years. But basically, it's an old elementary school that has been closed and abandoned since the early 70s. It's 2021, guys. That's like 1970 exactly. That's a while ago. You've never seen Nightmare on Elm Street? It's not for everybody. It's like not horror. I mean, it is horror, but I feel like it's like psychological. It's like a psychological thriller.
Why am I wanting to say Johnny Depp is in it?
He is.
He is? Okay.
Yeah, he's the one that gets sucked into the water bed or whatever, the bed.
The bed, yeah.
Yeah. Which
I felt like he was in it, but I just couldn't remember. It's been that long.
Ooh, yes, Johnny Depp. Yes, I remember every movie he's in. Anyways, carrying on. We already talked about the Skarsgård family last time. Oh, man, we could go on. Well, let's not get distracted too much. But it's been abandoned since 1970 in Jacksonville, Florida, as I said. It was named, actually, it's had like several, but I'm going to tell you this one first. It was named Annie Little Elementary, named after the very first principal, that was very well known in Jacksonville. She seemed to be like a really sweet lady out of all the research. I didn't hear anything negative about her, like some of the people I'm about to mention. She was just the very first principal of the school when it opened, and then in like the 1950s is when they named it after her. But it was actually called Public School Number 4. That's
original.
Very original, very vague.
That's what they do in like New York City though. Like they call them like PS 85.
PS 85 and PS 92 and stuff like that. So yeah, it was Literally, when it first opened, it was called Public School Number 4, which is interesting because it's shaped like an E. So, like, I feel like they could have called it something with that, but I don't know.
Weird.
C'est la vie. Eric Northman, that's not bringing anything to mind reading it.
I have no idea who that is.
I'll need some context, some movies he was in. Eric Northman.
I'm gonna Google him.
Eric Northman. Who is it? No?
He is Alexander Skarsgård's character on True Blood. I should have known that.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. I felt like that was really familiar, but I'm really bad with names.
I love True Blood.
That's how we got on the topic of the Skarsgård. Well, no, I think I mentioned Bill Skarsgård and It, because we were talking, that's in one of our latest podcasts if you want to go listen to it. I think it was the Dybbuk box. And then we just started having like a 5-minute conversation about how much we love the entire Skarsgård family, and God really blessed that family with the best genes in the universe. God really do be picking and choosing.
Like, even the Skarsgård that was in Vikings, Gustav, I think his name is, even he's hot.
I don't think I know that one.
And his name is Gustav.
Is he another brother or like a cousin?
I'd be lying to you. I know they're related.
I don't think I've seen him.
Oh, he is a brother.
Because isn't there like 4 of them?
Yes, there's Alexander, Bill, Gustav. I know that. Let me go look him up. Hold on. Please. Walter.
Oh.
Walter.
Oh.
He doesn't even have a picture.
Oh, he must be really sexy. He must be really sexy if there's not even a picture of him. The internet couldn't handle it.
But it says, this is really confusing because it says he's 25, but it says his child is Jessica Chastain, who is 44.
Oh, no, that can't be right.
So,
stepchild? Maybe he's got him a sugar mama?
I don't know. So,
anyway.
I think it's a stepchild because I think he's married to her mom, who's like much older.
Oh, scandalous.
Okay,
Anyways, back to it. So it's been abandoned since the 1970s. That is a really, really long time to be abandoned, and a lot of stuff has happened to this school since then. But the school has a pretty cool history before it was even built, and I did do a little bit of research before it was built because originally it was a little tiny wooden schoolhouse, like when you're thinking of an old-timey late 1800s schoolhouse. That's what it originally was. But there was a huge fire that destroyed like literally almost all of Jacksonville in 1901. Like it started somewhere, not in the schoolhouse, but somewhere close, and it burnt everything down because when you're thinking back then, one, we didn't really have fire safety. Firefighters.
We didn't have firefighters.
They were kind of a thing, but it's not like my husband today. Like, they get a call and it's like a minute, and then you got these big old dudes in giant backpacks with shooter guns and 600-pound lions coming to your rescue. No, like, they had basically nothing. Like, they started with buckets, guys. That's how firefighters started out. Buckets of water. And yeah, and you got what you got. You might have burned alive because it takes an hour to go get the bucket and pass down the line. So literally all of Jacksonville burnt down. I mean, it's all wood. All wood. And like we said, it was bucket brigades back then. So everything, that's sad to think about. But literally all of Jacksonville, 1901, this one fire. And I couldn't even think of, it didn't really tell how it started. And they probably didn't even know back then how it, probably something, candle fell over, anything. So when they rebuilt the city, they wanted to make sure everything was fireproof. And back in 1901, fireproofing was kind of hard. Like, they didn't have the engineering that we have today. They did. I mean, a lot of the famous buildings were built back in the early 1900s. But the one thing that they knew they could definitely use to make the building safe and fireproof was to use cement blocks. So a lot of the buildings in Jacksonville are made completely of cement blocks or brick. I'm probably sure there are.
That, like, make the fire even worse because then it would, like, trap it inside.
So yes, and I mean that's a good point, but I feel like their thinking was at least the foundation won't be destroyed and we could just rebuild the inside, and hopefully the people get out alive. If not, oh well, I don't. You're just gone. But that was, in 1901. It's really interesting to think about, and I was glad that I did a little more research into it because I was reading how it was this cute little, wooden schoolhouse, and I was like, how do we get this giant school that's now completely abandoned and shaped like an E for some reason? But okay, there's another reason why it's shaped like an E, and we're going to talk about that too because I did some more research. So when the elementary school was, from 1901 till 1918, they really didn't have a school. They did, and it was like this little tiny small building. It took a really long time for them to rebuild because you got to remember it's 1901. So it took many, many years for them to completely rebuild Jacksonville. And when they were building the elementary school, their main focus was to make sure it was made entirely of cement, like I just said. They did not, especially a building that's going to be holding children, they did not want that to happen again. They did not want to take the risk of everything burning down and these children being hurt. But like Crystal said, it's going to help the foundation, but if a fire starts inside, everything inside is still going to burn up. But I mean, I feel like they were just trying to work with what they had. And it's in the shape of an E. So think one long hallway in the front, and then 3 hallways going like at the bottom, and then one long hallway going down the center. But the long hallway in the center is actually an auditorium. I know I'm doing a lot of hand gestures, but that's to help you guys. So think of that way. The one going in the middle, making the middle a small E, is the auditorium. And so they did it like this because I'm not going to explain it as well as this engineer guy did. So try to pretend for the next 2 minutes that I'm smart and I know what I'm talking about. But basically they said it made airflow come in between the two, the very end hallways. The airflow would come in between. And they kind of left an opening like in the auditorium. It's kind of like, it's like an outdoor auditorium and an inside all-in-one, if that makes sense.
Is it kind of like how you'd have, like, the shotgun houses? And they have, like,
yes. It is.
Pass through everything so the airflow's better?
Yes, that is exactly why. And, like, that's basically why they put the auditorium and everything in the middle. Because a part of it is closed off, like, obviously, so nobody can get in or out, or the kids can't get out. But a part of the auditorium is outside. And then that air can kind of come in, and it can come in between the other hallways and stuff. They were just, like, super paranoid. They were like, we just lost our entire town 17 years ago when we rebuild all these new nice buildings. We don't want that to happen again. So that's why they did cement. They did this weird shape. They made sure there were ways for all the kids and the teachers to get out of the building safely. So, like, I think they did a really good job, and I'm glad that I researched into that more because I saw the first school and I was like, this looks nothing like the school that we're talking about. Like, how do we get from here? So that's when I found out about the fire. So
that's interesting.
That was pretty cool to read. So now we're going to start off with the first outlandish folklore story, and I say outlandish and I say folklore because a lot of people in Florida believe this. But that's, like, all of Florida. Like, we have stories, and I've told Crystal some stories from, like, my hometown. But we believe those. Not necessarily everybody's going to believe them. And I'm not too sure if I'm sold on these. Like I told Crystal right before we turned the stream on. Some of this just, I don't know. I got the vibe that they were trying really, really, really hard to make this place scary. Is basically where I'm coming from.
They do that with every haunted school, though. Is they like always try to make it as scary as possible.
Well, like I couldn't find any personal stories. These were just like collective stories, and like I went on YouTube because everybody knows I love YouTube, and there really wasn't any videos. I mean, there was like the local news stations going and recording the buildings because of course it's been vandalized, and graffiti, and there's squatters and homeless people, but there really wasn't like any paranormal investigators. I mean, there is this one dude, so just Google, or not Google, go onto YouTube and type in Double School. You're gonna find this one dude, and he reminds me of Ghost Adventures. Because it's like him by himself with his camcorder. And he's like, today on this video, we're going to go inside this haunted school in Jacksonville, Florida. And like nothing happens in the 16-minute video. It's just him going through the school looking at all the empty rooms. Like nothing happens. And I'm like, okay, this
just hyped you up for nothing.
I was like, great, this is going to be great research. And then at the end of it, I was like, okay, well, basically all I'm going to do is make fun of you on the podcast. So, welcome in. That was waste.
Tag him in the comments.
Waste. It's funny though. If you want to go watch it, it's funny, and you do get to go and look inside the school because he literally goes all through the school and videotapes. But just so you know, he's going to be standing like this, and he does a lot of these side movements, and nothing happens, and he doesn't even like tell you any background about the school, so I still had to go do my own research. Anyways, moving on. If you want to go watch that funny guy, I'll make sure to like tag the video when I upload this to YouTube, so shout out to you, random YouTube dude. So supposedly okay, so there's like several different stories, and they're like all crazy after the other. But the first one is the principal after the lady that was the first one that the school is named after, Annie Little. They had a male principal right after her, and supposedly the school got its name because he was the devil on earth.
You must have really hated him.
Okay. All right. Supposedly he was a cannibal.
Oh, that escalated quickly.
Yes, cannibal. The story is that he would slowly like call children into his office and eat them.
What happened when they went missing? Did no one think it was suspicious?
I couldn't find anything.
Children just randomly went missing?
I couldn't find anything, and I couldn't find anything about like missing children from this school. Like it was just a folklore. It was just a story. That's why I was like, some of this is just like off the wall. Like they were trying really, really hard to make this place seem spooky. But if you're gonna tell a spooky story, you gotta have like some missing kid stories, or you gotta make something up. You can't just be like, yeah, we had a principal, he ate children, but none of the children went missing. So how did he eat them?
How did he eat them?
How did he take them? Supposedly he was sent up from hell. So technically he wasn't the devil because the devil sent him up, but they called him the devil. And he was sent up, and he became the principal, and then
the principal of all things.
And then slowly he would call the children in his office for whatever reason, and he would eat them. And supposedly down in the boiler room, he had like a little meat locker where like if he couldn't eat all the meat, he would store the meat down there. Yeah, it
makes so much sense.
I like
so
much. And it was literally described as a meat locker.
Did he like hang the kids up? Like when he...
I don't even know. Also, and I think this is why it gets compared to Nightmare on Elm Street, that wasn't it. The evil cannibal children eating principal that's not where we stop, folks. There was a janitor that took a bunch of the kids down to the boiler room and set them on fire. And burned a bunch of started a fire in the boiler room, and a bunch of kids died.
I'm 100% convinced though it's the principal. the only person who could have done any of this.
Yes. Yes. The janitor, though, that's not really spooky. That just seems like maybe he had some issues going on. But I could not find any of that. There's the original fire in 1901, and then there's also another fire that I'm going to talk about in the 90s, but there was no mention of a fire in the 1950s caused by a janitor in the boiler room. But all in all, they're trying to say that the principal and the janitor were, like, called up from hell to, like, take as many souls as they could from these children. But, like, if you're religious, and if you know anything about, you know, religion and children, like, they technically say before the age of 12 that your soul cannot go to hell. And this is an elementary school.
An innocent soul.
An innocent soul.
It was for some witchy spell or something. I don't know.
But this is elementary school, so, like, that makes no sense. But I don't know. That's the story, and they're sticking to it, and they still to this day say that happened, even though I couldn't find anything. If that really did happen, that is freaking wild.
Like that would be like main news.
That would be main
covered.
Like, there wasn't anything on YouTube, like, nobody talking about it, and, like, when I Googled it, they, like, talked about it in folklore, but there was, like, no hard, like, sources linking me to the children that died or the fire that happened. There was links to the other fires that happened, because they really did happen, but I was like, okay, this is a pretty heavy, you know, accusation, and then I was like, okay, so it really is folklore, because I was like, they got a wild principal and a wild janitor out on the loose, guys. So, hide your kids. But this next part, I'm going to put a little disclaimer, because this is another thing that I actually did find evidence of it happening, and it happened multiple times. So I felt like I should mention it, because this is probably the scariest thing that actually did happen at this school. That would kind of make it, you know, spooky. Hey, welcome in.
Hey.
We're happy to have you. Hope you're having a good night.
We're talking about spooky schools.
Yep, and we're about to get it. So this is a little disclaimer. I will be briefly talking about sexual assault and other things of that nature. So if you are a little uncomfy, I'm going to give you a few seconds here for the stream to catch up with you, and then we'll carry on. So, alrighty, that's my warning.
We're talking about a school where Bethany's from, or around now, but I am going to talk about Ellerby Road School in a second.
Yes, at the end of it, I told Crystal she should mention the one from here, but this is the one in Jacksonville, Florida. It's the Annie Little Elementary School that is called the Devil's School. We just talked about how it's a bunch of pooey. But after the school was condemned in 1971, people started committing crimes inside the abandoned school, which makes it even creepier. And several rapes were actually reported inside the school. There's even a classroom inside the school with rape room spray painted above the doorway. That's some pretty heavy stuff. It's like something draws these men to take these women to this abandoned school and rape them, because literally there was like several reports of like these men would find a woman and like literally drag her inside the school into this particular room and rape them. And I'm like, why? Like, so that's pretty heavy for this school. And that happened several times. I found like 2 or 3 cases, and that was actually like reported in the newspaper. So that's like a legit one. Now the janitor and the principal, not reported, but that's pretty sick. And for them to spray paint that across the door, and for men to continue to take women in there and do that is...
That's weird.
It's sickening and weird, and like it already had this name, so like I don't know. And there's nothing that is the truest statement I've ever heard in my life. There's a reason that we get talked about the much as the weirdest and dumbest state in all of the country. Anyways, but there's really nothing anybody could do because it's an abandoned building with no windows, no doors. People break in it all the time. The entire building is filled with graffiti. So the police were trying to, they did put up a gate, a fence, but what's that going to do for people? And they were trying to keep it closed, but these men were breaking in and taking these women in there, and people were going in there and getting high and destroying the building and living in it. I mean, homeless people, they're just living in it, so nothing against them. They're just trying to survive. But these other people, get a life. Okay, here's a fire. Here's a fire that we actually have proof.
I told you there was going to be a fire with all these cement bricks.
Okay, but it has a legitimate reason on why it was started. But this actually happened, not the janitor in the boiler room. In 1995, a fire broke out in the school. Police are pretty sure it was caused by homeless people or one of the people that, breaks in and graffitis and trashes the place, because it was started by trash. The fire department was pretty sure it was started from when they put stuff in a barrel to warm themselves up. They think one of those got turned over and then it caught onto other trash and then it just set one of the rooms on fire. It didn't set the whole school on fire, just one room. So I mean, it's made of cement blocks, like we said, so it didn't really do anything to the foundation, but everything inside the room was burnt up.
So could you say it actually worked because it prevented it from spreading?
It kind of did, because it kind of contained it to that one part, but it kind of did do some damage. Because it was in the auditorium, the one that I said that was in the middle part of the E. And it did something, but it's also been sitting and it's been abandoned for a while, but it made the roof cave in, so it literally made all of it an outside theater, and everything is open now in that middle part. And you can look up pictures, and it actually looks pretty cool, and it's just a little tiny part of nature now because it's just all open.
Huh.
Yeah. But really, though, most of the stories in the folklore I found wasn't really talked about until after the school was closed. None of these stories were happening in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, even in the 70s when it closed. These stories...
It was after it already kind of gotten its name for being haunted?
It came out... The stories started coming out after Nightmare on Elm Street was released. And that's why I said, put that in the front of your brain. Let's talk about that here soon. Because a lot of the stories that I found were from the late 80s, the early 90s, the 2000s, people talking about this. I didn't find anything from the 50s and 60s and 70s of this being, it just mainly talked about it being abandoned. So, I don't know. But, an interstate was actually built going directly above it and kind of around it in 1950, and it's I-95 and I-10, and if you are a Floridian, you know those interstates well. They are freaking pain in the butt to drive on. It's super busy. It's all those stinking bridge overpasses that you hate to drive on.
Those are the ones you use to kind of get to the beaches, huh?
Yes, and they're hard to get on and off of, and they're 6 lanes. And
aren't they tolls too? They'll just be tolls to get on those?
It's expensive. Some of them are $1.50, $3 just for you to get off. To literally get off and get on and even to get on the ramp, you have to pay a toll. So say you're at Walmart on the right-hand side of the street, and you need to go to Target on the left-hand side of the street.
Oh, that would make me angry.
You got to pay $3 freaking to take this.
Absolutely not.
This drive-up ramp to the toll. Yeah, I freaking hate it. That's why I hate going down there.
You can't go around a back way or anything?
Some of them don't have back roads. If you know the area, and I suggest that if you go visit these places on vacation and stuff, find a local, or you could ask me, I know some of them. Find a local and ask them the back streets, because those tolls add up fast. And it's literally, if you want to cross the street or you want to go down a little bit of the street, you're going to have to take that toll, pay $3. And it's got to be exact change.
Oh, that's obnoxious.
It's got to be exact change. It's so dumb. Anyways, or they give you this little slip and you can like take it home and like go online and pay it. And you know how many times I've forgotten to do that and I got a ticket. But anyways, it's stupid, Florida. It's stupid. They say it's to pay off for like the roads and stuff. How
Are they even
freaking
that nice?
no? And how long does it take to pay off a road? How long?
Scam.
How long? It's like we have a bridge back home. It was built before I was born, and it's still a toll because they say they're still paying the bridge off. I'm 27.
Yes, I would have taken back streets the entire time too. I would have been that person. I still am that person. But
Yes.
if it takes like 30 minutes to go with tolls and an hour to go without tolls, I'm going to do without tolls.
Yes, Turnpike is crazy. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You're right. And it gets really bad when you're down in Key West because it gets smaller and they really know that a lot of people are going down there to vacation and stuff. And I really feel like they're just price gouging and they're putting all these tolls up and stuff. Roads do cost a lot, but why do I have to freaking pay $3 to cross the street?
Taxes already paying for that? Like, doesn't rich people and old people go to retire in Florida and pay taxes and then they can pay for the roads?
It is cat. We went to the beach last summer. The toll was $4 and it said cash. I'm like, exact change. It does.
So that's stupid.
It does.
Now they know that chances are you already only have $5.
Oh.
They are expecting you to just be like, keep the change, and then they profited a whole $1.
Yeah. Oh, I have done that before, James. And then
yes, we probably will be because I still have to talk about Albert B. Rose.
Yes,
I still has like a few more.
I still have a few more, so we will be here if you want to put your kiddo to bed. Okay, James, I have done that, and then I get in trouble by your brother because we get a ticket in the mail for me running the toll. And they sent it in the mail and they're like, you did not pay $3.50. It's so annoying, but it really is, and I'm glad to see that you guys understand the struggles. You're already paying a lot to go on vacation. You're probably getting a rental car, or you flew in, and then now you got to pay $3 to go buy groceries at Walmart.
It's a scam. But you know what you could do now? Now you could, instead of going to buy groceries at Walmart because, whatever, you're staying at your nice fancy condo, now you could just have Walmart deliver it to you.
Yeah, and I think that's why a lot of people do that. So, now the city's going to be missing out on all that moolah they get because we're sticking it to the man and we're saying, no, we're not going to pay that stupid toll.
I'm not going to pay this toll.
Anyways, so basically in 1950 when those two interstates were built, the school closed like 2 years after, a little bit after, because honestly the school was hard to get to when they built the interstate, because it went over the school and it went around both sides of the school. So it made hard for the buses to get there, the parents to get there, and also if you were on the second floor of the school, the kids in the classroom could not hear their teacher because the people on the interstate were so freaking loud. That's how close it was. Like, you can look it up. You can look up school pictures of the school. Like, here's the interstate on this side, and here's the school, and it's literally like this on the second floor. It's right by it. So if you had classes on the second floor, they said that the kids complained that they couldn't hear anything, and the teachers couldn't teach to the children because the traffic was so loud. And then the school bus can't come in because there's so much traffic to pick the kids up. So they really messed up the school. Building this interstate really messed it up, and that's why eventually they just had to close the school because it was pointless at that point. They can't teach the kids, and they can't pick them up and drop them off from school because Sally Mae and, Bobby are on vacation and got to take I-10 to go down south. Good for you. Now kids can't get an education. Thanks.
All because you wanted to go to the beach.
All because they want to build a road, then charge us $3 to go through the toll. So thanks. That's why this school has sat abandoned since 1970 and closed in the 50s. But okay, so this is my theory here. When I was talking about Nightmare on Elm Street, I somewhat feel like some of the rumors, some of these folklore, some of these stories, were started to justify them building the interstate, which eventually caused the school to close and later be condemned in 1970. Which is why a lot of the stories sound like Nightmare on Elm Street. There's a janitor that, burned kids alive in the boiler, which is what Freddy Krueger was in the movie. He was a janitor at the school, and he got burned in the boiler room by the parents because supposedly he was doing stuff to the children.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like they just latched onto that, and then they decided to find a local place to
Yes,
exploit.
yes, I agree. And yes, if you need stock advice, you hit up MDCXX in the comment section. He's very good at stocks. But yeah, so that's.
He can help me figure out if my 401k is being invested correctly.
Oh, he could. He's very good at stocks. He's chef's kiss. Chef's kiss.
I just have money in that, and then my HSA finally hit the part where it can start investing, and it asked me what I wanted to invest it in, and I was like, just do whatever you want it to do. I don't know.
Well, he's normally always in the Discord, so if you want to jump in with him, he can definitely help you and Tyler, because I think Tyler mentioned something about wanting to get into stocks. But yeah, that's where my theory came. I feel like some of the people that were behind building the interstate were kind of feeling guilty about building the interstate and the school closing, that they're like, oh, well, it was a scary school anyways. It's a good thing that it closed. No, it really wasn't. I couldn't find anything. On that this stuff actually happened, or any like paranormal investigation videos of people coming in there. And I mean, you don't have to find something for it to be haunted, but I just honestly don't get the vibe that this place is haunted. I feel like, yes, bad stuff has happened in this school, but it was abandoned since 1971, and all this other stuff has happened. Of course, it's going to seem like it's really creepy. But that's just my thought, and I would love to hear y'all's thought.
It makes sense, though, that they would pick up on the parts of Nightmare on Elm Street, because I feel like it was probably started by some teenager who watched this movie and was like, ooh, we have this school that's abandoned in our city. Like,
and it's
why
just,
don't we start this
folklore, rumor.
Yes, basically, and spread it around to people, and it just kind of became one person after another telling this story, and it just kind of how it is.
But the only other things that I could find, and I'll just finish up with this, and then Crystal can move on to her spooky Louisiana school story. But the only other things that I could find that happened after that is they actually tried to turn it into a senior citizens apartment complex. Kind of like, it's supposedly haunted in the Devil's School, but let's put elderly people in it, right? But it was supposed to kind of be like assisted living for like the elderly in 1980, but for some unknown reason that never happened. I couldn't find anything else on it. They did purchase the building in 1980 for like $186,000, which really isn't a lot. Because it's a pretty big school. But that was it. Yeah, but that was it. Nothing came of it. Oh, we could maybe make a trip. I've been telling Crystal I want to get a video camera and us go around and do like little paranormal investigations for YouTube.
It would be cool to road trip down there and see it.
That would be. It does look. It looks interesting. I kind of would just like to walk through it. Especially the little auditorium area. I don't know. And then the only other thing is in 2000, it was officially designated as a historic landmark. The people of Jacksonville just, they can't seem to let go of this school. It's symbolic to them. It's just a part of Jacksonville's history. So in 2000, it has the little plaque on the front of it. It is deemed historical. It cannot be destroyed. Nothing can be done with it. But people in the town that are like part of this like preservation group community, they go around and try to restore buildings and like older parts of town. They actually want to turn it into a school again.
Oh.
They
Be interesting.
well, they think like me. They don't think any of that happened. So instead of it just sitting there empty, they just want to turn it back into a school. So,
Sense.
and it's historic, so it can't be torn down anyway. So they say, why let it stay here abandoned looking like this when we can turn it to a school? But anyways, that's all I have on the Devil's School. I'm sorry it wasn't spooky. I really like deep down had my fingers crossed, and I wanted this to be so spooky. I wanted me to go on YouTube and find like the spookiest stories that I could find and not be able to sleep at night, but I literally turned my iPad off and went to bed and sleep like a baby.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. So Ellerby Road ain't that spooky either. But I also only had like while Bethany was talking about the Devil's School to look up stuff about Ellerby Road School because it was just kind of a thing that we just said, I'll talk about it. Because that's how we roll. But I can't tell you what I know about it. I can tell you that I've been there several times. Um, so I'll tell you what I know first, and then I'll kind of like read what I read slash tell you what I found. So I do know that it was a school that was opened in like 1950s ish, and it was called George Washington Carver High School, and it was a high school like predominantly for black kids, and it was literally in the middle of absolutely nowhere, and it hold on, I can find where I saw something. I knew they had like really bad like enrollment problems because it was so far out in the middle of nowhere that no one could really get there, and I think that's probably a systemic racism thing. Like
I was about to say the same thing. Let's put all the black kids out in the middle of nowhere, away from the white children.
So I think that was kind of why it was what it was. And so after desegregation happened, the school closed because obviously they didn't have to go to the school way out in the middle of nowhere. They could go to their local one.
Thank God.
Right? So the school closed in 1973. In 1981, and it just sat empty. In 1981, the Baptist Tabernacle leased the property for a Christian college, but they were only there for like 4 years before it closed in 1985, and then it sat vacant the entire after that. At that point, the Caddo Parish School Board, the parish that we're in and that it's in, started leasing it for agricultural use. And that's why, like, if you would go, there would always be, like, you could hear cows, like, mooing, or there would be, like, cows in, like, this courtyard area of it. And so they were just always there. But in 2011, there was a vote to ultimately call for the demolition of it. But that demolition didn't ultimately end up happening until, like, 2 years ago, maybe? Maybe longer than 2 years, but so the legend of the school is that there was a janitor. This is why I laugh.
Oh my God.
There's a janitor named Quentin Gimble, and he was a janitor at the school in the 70s before it closed.
Okay.
And he had kidnapped a bunch of kids and started molesting them in, like, they said the basement, but there isn't a basement. And then somebody else, like, the story I always heard was that he molested them in the gym. But either way, it's weird. But that he was going to get caught, or he had a feeling he was going to get caught, and so he burned down the school.
Dang!
Story.
That escalated.
Right? Okay, so I'm gonna just finish telling you like what I know and like up until like me going, and then I'll kind of tell you what I found. So growing up as a kid, my mom always joked about how like there was always like satanic stuff happening and there was always like pentagrams and it's just really satanic.
Ooh. Ooh, that could.
And yes, Stephanie, the gym is where I always feel super weird. Every
Ugh.
time we went, I hated the gym. And so the first time I ever went, like we drove by it, but we didn't go in. And the very next time that I went, I don't even know if Stephanie was. I think Stephanie was with us. I think it was me, Stephanie, our friend Jordan, and our friend Tiffany. And not Stephanie, me and Jordan just hopped over this fence because they had it fenced off, and it's like all this greenery up. And so we hopped over and we just had like our phone flashlights and we're walking through and you know those like it's stereotypical school how they have like that half curved driveway where parents could walk
Oh,
their kids.
yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it had one of those and then you kind of like walked in and there's like this overpass, like this kind of like covered walkway. And we just it's like kind of open on this side and there's like a building kind of over here and then there's like a bunch of buildings like a whole line of buildings on your left hand side. So we went into the first one and you can see like lockers on the ground, half the walls are falling down, there's graffiti absolutely everywhere. So we just went in the built we just went into the rooms and we all took pictures and just goofed off. And that first time we went, we didn't actually go all the way in. Like we went like halfway in, and I guess we got freaked out or something. Or we went into a room that we thought was the gym, but it really wasn't. It was an auditorium, I think it was the first one because you walk in and there's like this huge cafeteria looking style place with like um those those old like not chairs, what are they called? Tables that have like little round seats that get folded up and you can put them on the wall. You know what I'm talking
Oh,
about? Maybe, kind of. Anyway, so they have those, and there was like a platform where like you could, I guess, put plays on, like parents could come see their kids. Um, well, other times after that, we went with other people, but as we started exploring more of it, you could eventually explore this big gym. And the gym has like an open air kind of feel because like you could see outside. Like it had like skylights. And I'm assuming most of them were broken, but I don't really remember. But I always do remember being able to see like the moon.
hmm.
Um, I went there one time without Stephanie, and I went with a cousin and her boyfriend.
What?
And yes, I knew that because there's always like pentagrams around the platform, like like spray painted on the ground and stuff.
I'm not like a judgmental person. I'm like a do what you want. But like I honestly want to know what makes you wake up in the morning and think I'm going to go sacrifice a cat.
People are weird. I wouldn't do that to an animal, and I don't
I
think
can't.
I cannot be convinced that real Satanists or real witches and people that are into witchcraft sacrifice animals. Like you could never convince me of that. Like good people
I'm
are
kind of
against
like
that.
I'm kind of like slightly Buddhist. Like me and the kids will like pick up bugs and take them outside. Like we don't even want to kill them. I I can't see myself being like, but hell yeah, brothers, let's all get together tonight and we're gonna
Let's slaughter this cat.
sacrifice this animal to the devil. I'd be like,
No, I don't like it. I don't like it.
will you take
But
some? Will you take some Boone's fart instead? Will you take some red wine and we just say it's blood?
so the first
Oh.
time I went into like the gym, I went to like we were like walking around and it was one of those like you felt like you were being watched or there was someone in the room with you, but you really didn't know what was going on kind of feelings. And we were all just talking and we were joking and we were like trying to catch ghosts and stuff like that. But all three of us were secretly very like, we wanted to get out of here, but we didn't want to say anything because we didn't want the other people to think we were weird kind of
Oh.
things. So I was freaking out. Like, I have not.
Oh my god, chat always getting. That would be like. That was like how me and Chris were trying to think of a title for Dybbuk Box, and I just said Demon in a Box randomly. And we're like, that would be a hell of a heavy metal band name. Demon in a Box.
Play that kitty. We're talking about the Ellerby Road School. That is the only thing that you missed. As we started talking about it, I'll just recap for you really quick. It was closed down. They said a janitor did it and that he kidnapped kids and he molested them and he got caught and like set the school on fire.
That literally sounds like the plot of Nightmare on Elm Street. I feel like all these schools are like taking, or maybe the producer of Nightmare, the writer, was like, let me find all these really crazy hillbilly schools that have weird histories and let's make a movie out of it.
Yes.
And
That's
boom,
probably what happened.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
So now we are talking about my experience in Ellerby Road School and how I was legitimately freaked out and it felt like someone was watching me and I just wanted to get out of there. Like I wanted to be like, done, I'm back. Sorry, let's go. Bye. So it was weird to me. Jerry, I really was thinking about saying something about the horse.
Wait, horse. Now I gotta know. Now I gotta know. What?
So Jerry, Stephanie, and I, and some other people, when we were like late teens, early 20s, all we ever did was get into my little SUV that I messed up the front of, and we would ghost hunt all over the city. Okay? So there's a women's college in like south of Shreveport, and it used to be a morgue during the Civil War.
Oh, wait, what? How do you go from morgue to college? What?
Well, it was a women's college, but they that's what they did. That's what they used.
Oh, okay.
And so it's supposed to be super haunted out there. Well, we're out there one night, and I kind of get stuck because I feel like we saw something or we saw someone. I don't even remember what it was, but I'm backing up, and I was a horrible driver. I still kind of am, but I was backing up, and then all of a sudden, I see something in my rear view mirror taking up the entire back part of my car, like window. And what it was is I was like 6 inches away from a horse whose face was like up against my car, and I screamed so loud. And it was like there was like a fence between us, but like I had backed up like to the fence, and his head was over the fence.
That horse was probably he was like, there's these crazy white women out here in an SUV and they're about to run me over. Somebody call 911 immediately.
Yeah, 100%. He was probably more scared of me than I was of him. But
Can you imagine if you like ran over that fence and that poor horse and then you having to explain that to the public? Well, I was out here ghost hunting.
I was scared. There was that was also the same case that me and Stephanie were out there with friends, and a bug flew up my nose, and I couldn't get the bug out of my nose for like a week.
What?
Yes, like it flew up and got stuck, and yes, and Stephanie, yes, 100%. I remember that. I remember being scared.
All right, I'm just gonna need to get all of y'all together, and I'm gonna let y'all ghost hunt, and I'm just gonna record it, cause I feel like I would pee my pants laughing so hard at all of this.
We really should. I can't tell you how many places we went to.
Oh my god.
College was like probably the one we went to the most, though, because like I don't know, we just always thought it was cool, because there was like a bell tower out there that was supposed to like go off.
Ooh.
There was also a witch's tower actually pretty close to where you live, Bethany, but they tore it down. We used to go out there all the time.
Well, thank God for that.
And then there's another one out like further down Barksdale, and it's It's in Taylortown, and I don't know if they tore that one down, but that one was a cool one that we used to hop the fence to go, like, investigate too.
Nice. Okay, she's a rebel.
We were like breaking and entering into these places.
Oh, believe me and my mom have done that plenty of places. But I was a small child. I did my ghost hunting as a small child. I've done my time. Now I'll record you guys while you do it.
Okay, well, I think it's official, so we're just gonna get together as a little group of four, Bethany on the video camera, and we're gonna do a Ghost Adventures Shreveport style.
Wait, which one is still there? The Witch's Tower? Which one?
Probably, I think she's in the one in Taylortown.
Oh, thank God, not by my house. Okay. Well, Crystal.
That one was really cool though. Like, it was like right next to some apartments, and so like if you lived in the apartments, I always wanted to live there because it was right by the apartments and you could just walk.
No, I think the last house we lived in when we lived in New Mexico, my house was right in front of a cemetery.
Cool too. Well,
So
when I was in college, I spent 2 whole semesters basically living in a cemetery for 8 hours a day doing research.
yes, that is my mom in the chat. The Cajun Nana is my mom, and picture 6-year-old me going ghost hunting with my mom. That was our bonding.
If I had a kid, it would be
It was
Jerry and Stephanie with a kid being like, go, you go walk over there.
It was just me and my mom. She was a single mom and she liked to ghost hunt and she didn't have a babysitter, so here's little old me tagging along in my little lace socks, like, where are we going, Mom? And then I'd be like, I want to go home immediately. Right now.
Oh, that's cool stuff. I didn't know that. I haven't been out there in like literal years. Like since before I moved away the first time. That's how long it's been.
Interesting.
So anyway, let me go back to Ellerby Road School because now y'all got me talking about my ghost venturing path. So yeah, I hated that one gym, and then it's weird because like the second you walk out of the gym, it like completely the feeling of being watched and the feeling of like it like this pressure being on you like immediately goes away. It's like, and it was weird because I kept testing it out because like if you walk in you would feel it, but the second you like cross like the threshold between like the hallway and the actual gym, it's like all of this pressure just like releases. I know that sounds like hooey jewy and just like
hooey jewy. Oh.
I don't know what word to put there, but whatever. It sounds like crazy stuff. I don't know. But that's just how I feel. So anyway, now that we know how I feel about it, I'm going to tell you what I found. And I don't know any of this that is true. I'm going to tell you the one that I read first that was from like a local not news, like what are they called? Yes, Stephanie. I always felt like someone put cotton in my ears as soon as I walked into the gym. Yes, that's a very good way of like explaining it. Like that, or like if you like when you're flying or you're way high in altitude and your ears kind of pop and it makes your head feel like it's kind of like
I hate that feeling.
Cool. That's kind of the feeling that I have. It's the best way I could describe it. So this first article that I found was from a local radio station. That's the thing. Talking about basically the same things I said about how it was a school primarily for Black students, and that it was used for Louisiana Baptist University, and then after 1985, nothing. That's when the rumors about that Quentin Gimble guy molesting the students and setting the place on fire to keep it quiet. So I did not know this, and maybe I'm crazy, or maybe these two articles are just trolling us to the nth degree. But apparently, this Quentin Gimble was a real guy who was arrested and sentenced to life in prison.
Oh.
And apparently he was released back into society.
Oh.
So I was like, I read that and I was like, whoa, what does that mean? Like, who is this person? So there was an article I found in 2017 that said there was new evidence that came to light that now will see him released back into society. And it has a quote from him saying that this was a great day and that he's ready to see his wife and parents. And a quote from a sheriff saying that that they never really asked for names, that they just said, sounds pretty serious. He probably did it, and arrested him. But now they have evidence that the kidnappings never happened. I'm really confused. But this person was released, really and truly, actually, he was released on 4/20, so yesterday of 2017. So I don't know. Take that for what you want. I don't really know. The article that I did find that I was kind of a little bit more like, okay, was from our local news channel, KTBS, where they interviewed my favorite history professor, Dr. White, about the school. And they actually interviewed a former student who went there who said that they didn't want to release their name. So I was like, okay, well, maybe this is a little bit more truthful. And the student said that she had never heard of any students being abducted or molested by a janitor, and that she had never heard of a school fire that had burned or killed any student. And then Dr. White agrees. She says that there's like nothing in the media from around the time or up until now that has ever mentioned anything about a fire, someone being arrested, any kids going missing, none of that. And she even said if that would have happened, we would have remembered it. But that also made me like question, is this like a Mandela effect thing? Like, did we like the conspiracy theorist in me like took hold and was like, maybe this is an alternate reality that we split from. But anyway, there are pictures of wild boar that have like appeared to be like sacrificed in front of the building.
Oh my God.
Like those are like actual pictures that they have. But Dr. White said that she did not know if it was actual Satan worshippers or if it was just like kids being like teenagers, rebellious,
trying to be edgy.
Yeah, because that's cool. Because I would say to a group of friends, hey guys, let's go find a wild boar and take a picture.
First off, those stink, okay, to cut open and bleed. So that's dedication to the craft, because no thank you.
Yeah. But basically the consensus is that like for like the satanic symbols and stuff like that and the pagan symbols that are like throughout the school, it's mostly that they're thinking that it was just teenagers who had looked stuff up and decided to spray paint or write stuff. And I mean, I'm pretty sure there's probably one or two people out there that really did go to try and have like a satanic ritual out there. Like, I'm not going to put that past someone. But it seems like a majority of the stuff that happened really wasn't that. It was just people trying to be creepy and spooky. And I have a little personal antidote to add on to this about um, it, because I think it's funny that when you Google Ellerby Road School, what it pops up is it's called the Satan School, and I think it's hilarious that
they're so similar.
Satan,
yeah.
Just because it's a scary school. So
Satan
I guess that
School.
means every community has one.
I guess so. Satan School and the Devil School.
But the personal antidote was that anyone can make a scary location, because I do specifically remember going out with a bunch of friends to Juju Road in Bossier, and right around it there is a street called Modica or something like that, or Modica. I think it's called Modica, but we pronounced it Modica. And there's like this abandoned gas station that looks super creepy. And we decided that we were going to make a whole story about it. And we just tried to convince people for like 2 solid years that Modica Lane was a haunted location. So, I mean, anyone can make it a haunted place. Anywhere a haunted place. Stephanie remembers Modica Station.
Oh my god.
Jerry, I don't think you were with us, but if you ask Russell, I bet he'll remember too. Because I'm pretty sure it was his car that almost got stuck on Juju Lane.
Oh my god, you guys are just out there on the hunt, on the investigation.
I told you we were. We were always out there, like, because Modica Lane is supposed to be one where, like, some person was hung or something like that, and you're supposed to be able to go down this lane and, like, see, like, a noose swinging from a tree or something.
What?
And then there's, like, another one. There is, like, train tracks by, I think it's closer to my house, that you're supposed, my mom always told me about it. And it's one of those, like, you're supposed to park your car and put it in neutral and get out, and then little kids that were hit by a bus are gonna get out and push your car out of the.
Oh, I've heard of that one. I've heard of that
the
one.
Train track. Yes.
I've heard of that one. Yeah.
So
That's
there's
wild.
a lot of really cool ones around here.
That's wild. Maybe our next Twitch stream will just be us out ghost hunting, and I'll just do it on my phone.
Hey, I'm cool. Like, I haven't gone ghost hunting probably in at least 6 years.
Oh my god.
We literally, what we would do is we would text each other and say, "Hey, you want to go ghost hunting?"
Are you free?
That's exactly how we would say it.
Are you free tonight? Let's just go on out and look for these little ghosties.
Hey, you want to drive out to the women's college?
That's
exactly
wild.
what we did. I wish I was lying, but we. And it was always so much fun because when we had a new person in the group, we would be like, "Hey, have you gone ghost hunting at this place?" And we would immediately have to take them to all of the scary places. And what was so crazy to me is we were always out till like 2 or 3 in the morning. Just
sounds about right. Okay, so I've actually brought that up to Crystal. We were talking about
yes.
Because we were talking about that body that was found in the suitcase. And I was like, we should do that, but I don't want to find a body in a suitcase, all right? I was like, I'm just laying that on the laying that out on the table. But
Jerry, do you know what randonaught is? I feel like you should, or I feel like if you do, it would be your kind of thing. But I downloaded the app.
It sounds fun. It sounds. And that is the time of the night. They say 3:15 is the witching hour, so spooky stuff.
Now, so Randonaught is this app, and it basically has these different servers, and I'm going to simplify it by saying you're supposed to concentrate on a person or an outcome. Like, let's say we wanted to have a really spooky experience. So we would focus our intent on having a spooky experience. And then you press this button and it gives you a random location in your area. Like within so many, you can pick the distance. And you're supposed to go and drive to that location and have a spooky experience. Or some people do it like they'll think about a person that they lost, and they'll go and maybe they'll see something that reminds them of that person. Well, there was a story that actually did happen where these kids did a randonaut, and it took them to this like random place on the beach, and they found these suitcases. And they were like, well, that's weird because the exact location was these suitcases.
Mm-hmm.
So they looked in the suitcases, and in the suitcases were a dead body.
It was like body parts,
like
yeah.
Body parts in separate suitcases that someone had thrown into the water, and they had washed up to this spot, and the kids found it because of the randonaut. So I have the app, and I want to do it so bad, but I don't know. Maybe I just need to go back to being like 21 again, because that's what I did when I was 21. I didn't go out and party when I was 21. We went ghost hunting. So
I've never been a party gal. Yeah, I'm down.
So y'all just let me know when we're gonna go randonauting, and yeah. See, look,
We
Gary
can
said summer's cut. Look.
we can
Two
grab
with the
some.
kids.
We can grab. Oh yeah, I will ditch my kids in a heartbeat. I love my children, but I will kick those to the curb with the hubs, and we can go grab some dinner and ghost hunt.
Exactly.
I'm
exactly like
down for it whenever.
Yes. So I feel like randonauting. Like I feel like if I was a teenager again, it's what we would have done like every weekend, without a doubt. Every
I
weekend
did
we would
some
have done it.
I did some weird stuff when I was a kid, so I can agree.
I agree. Let's plan for next month. We're all adults, so we do need like a month to 2 months in advance to plan.
We can do it for my birthday.
Oh, we could do it for your birthday.
My birthday's next month. Gemini gang.
We did
What
geocache.
is?
Have you never
I don't.
geocached?
I don't know what that is.
Okay,
I don't know what that is.
geocaching. I'm just explaining everything tonight.
Everything tonight. This is gonna be educational for YouTube.
So geocaching is basically they give you clues. Sometimes they give you a specific roundabout location, but it's clues, and you have to decode the clues to find the geocache, which can be like a little tube, it can be a box, it can be something hidden under something. But basically, it's um, just like a scavenger hunt that you can do all over the world. Like they are worldwide. And so we would find there's a couple that Stephanie and I never found to this day. I actually probably looked for one a few months ago that is by my work, and I still cannot find it. Like I have looked for it for years.
Wait.
And I've never been able to find it.
How do you know about this, Mom, and I don't?
Geocaching's been around for like 15 years.
You got
like
some splaining to do, woman.
Oh, that one by Sam's. Yes.
Oh, that would be fun. That would be good TikTok content too.
Yeah,
Going around.
I have actually seen a couple of TikToks about geocaching.
That would be fun.
So cool. But when you find the geocache, you're supposed to leave stuff. Like it's kind of like a take one, leave one thing. So like people put stickers or pennies or all kinds of weird stuff. Some of them are really big, some are small.
Dead bodies.
Some of them are so hard that like the clues, I've never gotten them. There's one in front of the one that I still cannot find is the one that is in front of Hobby Lobby. So I've never been able to find them.
Well, they can't make it easy for you guys.
No, they can't, but they're fun. Some of them are like, I'm talking incredibly easy that you can see them like from where you start looking. Some of them are like up in trees, hidden underneath stuff.
I didn't know that. Jurassic Park.
Guys that film the inside Jurassic Park were here actually geocaching. That's cool.
That's interesting.
Remember the bone Yumi and Candace found?
Wait a minute, like, y'all know?
Maybe.
Do y'all know what kind of bone it was?
I don't remember that, but I feel like I should.
Oh.
I remember when me and Kayla found an entire like animal like decomposing in the middle of the forest while we were walking through the woods one day, and it scared the crap out of me, and I noped out of there faster than I'd ever noped out of somewhere before.
Ew.
It looked like it had been mauled, and I was like, nope.
Oh, turn around. Abort mission.
Yep, nope.
Oh my gosh, that's interesting.
Yeah, Stephanie, if you find the picture, I'm probably going to remember it, and I feel like I probably blocked this out of my mind because it was a bone.
That
But yeah.
trauma.
The new park
trauma can be blocked out of your mind. The new fancy park.
Yeah, I don't know where it is. I just keep seeing moms post about it, and it looks fancy to me.
Oh, so probably not a place I'll go. I don't go where a lot of other moms are. We don't.
I'm not like other moms. I'm a cool mom.
I'm an antisocial, only talk on the internet mom. I might have to check it out though. Get my kids out.
You're the type of mom who, yes, is like that, but you're also the type of mom who's raised the kids who would be like, my mom says I don't have to talk to you because I don't like you, and I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but that's just how I feel. So I would really appreciate it if you just didn't talk to me. Those are your kids, and I love that about your kids.
We talk about feelings a lot. And yeah, that would be Alex. That would be my oldest. He's done that at the park, actually. That's why we don't go to the park much. Because one time there was a lot of kids, and he was like, "Can you guys not talk so loud and get so close to me? I need a minute." I was like, "This is why we can't come to the park, dude."
I love him so much, though. He's the best kid.
Alrighty, well, that's all I have. Do you have anything else? Does the chat have anything else? Does chat have any ideas on what we should do our next Twitch stream on? Or are we just ghost hunting for our next Twitch stream?
Sounds like we're doing a live stream from the middle of...
We had to role reverse. What do you mean? That is true. I was like a little... My mom used to describe me when I was a kid. Okay, good job. Okay, good job, dude. People on YouTube are gonna love that.
Stephanie, please don't go to the Field of Dreams Park by yourself as a 29-year-old woman. It'd just be a little creepy. Yes. So Kerrigan and Joanna need a play date since they're basically the same age and have never met, but like the same little kid, little girl thing. It's always so weird to me that they were never friends.
We do need a grown-up park. We need a grown-up park for sure.
Well, I'm hoping that the new Drew Brees place that's supposed to open up in the Bossier Mall is going to be a grown-up park. Because it looks like there could be fun stuff to do.
That would be fun.
For kids, or if it's for kids and adults. I'm not about the kids and the adults thing. I want like an Air U, but like for adults.
I agree. I mean, I'm a parent, and I don't necessarily think that my kid has to go every single place. There can be adult-only places. You are not gonna offend me or hurt my feelings.
Because grown-ups don't want to play outside. But I would love to play outside. If there was the park that's on Murray Drive that next to, yes, we do need a rage room.
We talk about that a lot. Yes, I need to smash in some stuff.
I want to go to the park that's off of Murray Drive next to whatever elementary school that is. TL Road? No, that's in Bossier. What's I don't know the name of it. No, not the middle school. It's an elementary school. But it has like a little water feature that comes on in the winter, not the winter, in the summertime. And they just updated it. And every time I drive by it, it's purple. Yes. I want to play in that park.
Yes. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I want to play in that park as an adult. No kids.
It's really nice. It is really nice. Yeah, I know. It's yeah.
As an adult, I want to play.
Yeah. Yep. We need something.
Not get kicked out.
We need something.
Because I would surely be doing the monkey bars.
I'll push a little child. Don't.
Eat them over the edge.
Hide your kids.
I'm not gonna lie. When I was nanny Stella, she was 8, 9, and so she'd play at the park, and I 100% would be like, "Hey, you wanna go down the slide?" And I would push a kid at the slide just so that I could go down because it wasn't weird that I was playing at the park with an 8-year-old.
We do have I just read water in the chat. We do have an axe throwing place here. I just don't remember the name of it. It's over by
Why would they not turn water on because of COVID? If we're gonna let them go to the park.
I hope they don't do that because we have a splash pad on base that is literally right by my house, and we go to it religiously during the summer. So they better turn that stuff on. They better turn that stuff on. Or we're going to make a splash pad in my backyard. We do have a trampoline, so maybe I'll just throw the sprinkler on the trampoline.
Throw the sprinkler on there and jump.
Yeah, it's by the boardwalk. Does anybody even go to the boardwalk anymore? I heard a lot of the stores closed down because of COVID. Like the movie theater's gone, I think, or something. And like, I can't even think of the other places. Charming Charlie's is gone, or whatever that place was called.
Even the movie theater isn't even open. I don't know why you would go to the boardwalk. I couldn't think of a single reason.
I think the last time we went was to go to the movie theaters, but that was before COVID. And I can't even remember what we saw now. Oh, I thought we saw Endgame. I think we saw Endgame. No. Now I don't remember. It's been so long. I haven't been to. Oh, did they? They probably lost a lot of money because of COVID.
Yeah.
They weren't allowed to be open.
That's kind of sucky. Oh well.
We just rent movies now, like online.
Oh, I forget that the Bass Pro was there. That's the thing.
I think that's the last place we went was Bass Pro, was to get some fishing stuff. But there's no other store in there. Like, there's really nothing.
Did you, when y'all went, did you fix Grandpappy's fishing pot roll or fishing
rod? We didn't fix it. We just got a new one. Oh my god, that's funny. Yeah, dang it. I used to sneak snacks in my purse for me and the kids.
I did too. So it's in cinema?
Yeah, okay, so it's this really old movie theater back home in my hometown. I'm glad my mom brought it up. I love it. It's literally like an adult movie theater. I bring my kids, but it's really an adult. And it's like a sit-down table, like it's a table and chairs, and you can order food, beer, wine, and watch the movie. Yeah, it's really cheap, and you can eat and drink. It's really awesome.
What was it called? It's called Movie Tavern or something? But,
yes, yeah, I stuffed my purse.
Nice, but I would stuff my purse, and unfortunately, I hated this. Right before our movie theater closed, before COVID, they got, like, frozen alcohol drinks.
Yes, I remember that, yeah.
Frozen Jack and Coke, and it was so good.
Ooh, a drive-in. We didn't have one in my hometown, but when we lived in New Mexico, we would drive over to Texas, and they had this really big, nice drive-in, and it was so cheap, and it had a huge concession stand. Oh my god, it was awesome. So if you're ever in Lubbock, Texas, check out their movie theater. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, I did see that about the guy that owns Silver Star working on doing a drive-in. That would be a really weird, like, who would have thought that drive-ins would be the thing that would make the comeback?
Well, because we're all antisocial. We can't touch each other because of COVID, and we all just want to be to ourselves in our own vehicles and eat a bunch of snacks, so it's kind of win-win.
I'm completely okay with being antisocial for, like...
I'm down. I'm down. I like
small... we can all meet each other in our own individual cars and be like, hey guys, we're here. It was nice hanging out with you.
I like...
in our own cars.
I like small crowds. I don't like big crowds. Yes. Ooh, they've cleared the land for it. Man, that might be soon then. I'm excited. We might have to plan a movie night.
How much work do you really have to do for a drive-in? You just put up a really big piece of fabric.
Outside industrial projector and plots for people to park and then a concession. I feel like that's all you need.
Yeah.
And do the wiring and the sound, I guess.
And don't they... I thought they always told you to tune into a radio station, like an AM station, and that's how they played the audio for the...
And, well, some of them have, like, that little box. Like, you park next to a box, and that's, like, the speaker. I've seen some that are like that.
But I feel like your car stereo system would make much more sense.
It would. I mean, nowadays that would make sense, but I think back in the day that's how they did it. It was like you park next to this little like speaker box, and that's how I don't know how that worked, but that would make so much sense. Yeah, some do have the standing speakers. Yeah, I think that's what I'm talking about. Ooh, an app on your phone, that would be genius.
Want to go in a truck and put an inflatable mattress in the truck bed with lots of pillows and blankets and sit in the back of the truck.
We can definitely take Zach's truck because that thing could fit like 10 people in the back of it with like a king size air mattress. And we're planning this. But I think that's we've been talking on so many subjects. Tonight has been so much fun. We've talked about schools that were scary but not scary, janitors and principals and horses, poor horses that almost got ran over.
I will never forget that horse's face in my mirror, ever.
He's probably
Ever.
He was probably
Absolutely ever.
terrified for his life. He's like, they're not normally here.
Who are these people?
Yeah. Alrighty, guys. Well, I think we might wrap this up because we're like, it's been almost 2 hours. That's crazy.
The last 30 minutes of just us been talking about Satan schools.
Satan schools, you're right. Well, do you have anything to add, the lovely lady?
No. Thank you for tuning in and supporting us, guys. That's always fun. Thank you for spending an hour and a half of your time with us.
Yep. And for anybody that's now just joining us, you can watch us on YouTube. I'm going to do my best to download this tomorrow and have it up by tomorrow night. But it does take some time, so bear with me. If you guys go ghost hunting, will be Zach and he will be Aaron. I will more than likely be Zach and Crystal will more than likely be Aaron because I feel like
exactly what I was gonna say. That's exactly what I was gonna say.
But we're being serious. Maybe we won't do like a traditional stream next month. Maybe for like my birthday or something, we'll go out and ghost hunt.
Hey, I'm down.
But thank you guys so much for joining in with us tonight. We had so much fun. And we will see all of you guys next month.
And everybody that has one of my little babies that I love so much, which is Bethany and Mary, give your babies kisses.
Yes. Alrighty. Good night, you guys. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us.